my boy Amit, and then I had to go help out the little one super quickly. But let me just get everything set up. I hope everything's working. I hope we get some great discussions. TSM just reported earnings. So like always, this is a live stream where you just come, Q&A. I share my overall thoughts. Let me just share screen. And maybe we can have some fun and get some great questions here. So hold on, share. This is the professional stream. Just kidding. It's not professional at all. So TSMC just reported earnings. I think it's the ultimate green light for AI investors. So good morning, Shri. Good morning. Let's go. What's going on? Missing no glitch. You're missing no glitch? You wanted to glitch? I don't know. Yvette, what's going on? Yvette, Jose was just watching you on the Miss channel. Thanks for all the great updates. Appreciate the support. Yvette, did Amit finish already? I don't know what time he usually finishes. Thoughts on, so Shri, thoughts on Micron, Lam research for short-term play. Do you think Micron stock can run a little bit more before NVIDIA does something about HBM? Yes. So I don't know if anybody was saw me in Amit previously. I kind of mentioned that one of my fears with memory market is memory is a market where everybody wants your margins. And when I mean everybody, I mean your customers. NVIDIA, AMD, everybody wants you to be more of a commodity because margins, your margins will be less and they'll be able to buy memory cheaper. And I think that's eventually going to happen. But memory market right now is sold out for this year. It's most likely going to be sold out for 2027. So I'm not investing in Micron, crazy run up. But I think there's still gas in the tank. For me, Lam Research, I've actually talked about this in the past. Lam Research is one of my favorite equipment plays. I'm not buying onto it right now, but Lam Research is, if you go back to just a year in this channel, Lam Research is one of the few semiconductor equipment players that is really helping provide a lot of equipment for the memory space. Their big customers are SK Hynix, Micron, and Samsung for the memory space. So those can continue to run up. I'm just saying with these crazy run-ups, I personally wouldn't do too much touching. So Shri, those are my thoughts. What's going on, Chris? So Taiwanese CEOs are the thing. I guess so, right? Is that the thing you need to invest in? If that should be the ultimate, that should be the ultimate. Hold on. What is Supermicro's CEO? But let's see what's up. Asml, what's up? I'm pretty sure I butchered that name. I'm sorry if I did. CoreWeave, yes, CoreWeave almost to $100. This is probably pretty exciting. Not probably. This is actually pretty exciting for me. As you guys know, I'm extremely bullish in CoreWeave. We're gonna hit 10% up on the day. I don't know what. Personally, I don't know. All right. To me, TSMC earnings were great. It's amazing for the AI market. It's amazing for semiconductor equipment players, right? We had Applied Materials up about 7%. You have Lam Research up about 7%. You have ASML up about 6%. So TSMC's earnings tell us that they're going to be spending a lot of money on CapEx. That CapEx goes on the equipment players. Now, they also told us that the AI growth story is real. They expect compounded annual growth rate for the next 3 to 4 years from now, because I think they started from 2024. So that gives a green light about the AI ecosystem. And if the AI ecosystem is seeing a green light, then I think you can safely say that it trickles down that AI cloud infrastructures are going to be a strong player. So CoreWeave seeing a momentum. Nebius is actually up after that rear U-turn that happened earlier. I think TSM showcased the market that AI is real. Vivian, TSMC is doing great. My guess is correct. They only want NVIDIA to be. Vivian, who do you want? Who's that? Who wants NVIDIA to just stay at those levels? NVIDIA 187. For me, I mean, 2% move on this player is exciting for me. What is SPY doing? SPY is up 4.6%. And the Q's probably 1%. Yeah, 1%. So to me, I mean, even Nvidia just moving, AMD is killing it, up 6% here. So pretty good there. Uh, let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm horrible with names. J- Joanny. This is all right. Let me know if I mispronounced it again. Love the lunch show. Appreciate it, Joanny. I'm pretty sure I butchered that one again. Um, Charles, yeah, where is he from? Yeah, where Charles is he from? Someone was mentioning that all Taiwanese CEOs are great. So curious to see if Charles was from Taiwan as well. Um, let's see what. All right, so we got some more questions coming in. So hello, Jose. Any opinions on Macom technology, MTSI? I don't know that one. Let's actually learn about it really quickly then. I am not too familiar with that one. So let's go to quarter. Uh, let's go to OpenAI, Open App. Let's go to MTSI, Macom Technology. Okay, maybe I have heard of this. Okay, if this, okay, yes. So manufacturer RF. Okay, so they do RF. I think I know them from my engineering days. I don't know them from my investing days. Um, what is the market cap? $12 billion. So let's just go here. Provide a comprehensive business. Yeah, let's just look at that. All right. So we'll come back to this in a bit. But I am curious to see what they do with the RF. Shri, thanks for your sharing your views. Any below 50 stocks related to semiconductor space that you think are priced good for now? Below 50 stocks, below $50. I don't know. I don't normally look at stocks that, I mean, I think Nvidia is still pretty good priced. I think AMD is still pretty good price. Marvell is still pretty good price. I would say the only one below 50 that I think is priced decently is Air Test Technology, right? Um, um, Also, am I streaming in 1080p today? Yesterday I think I did. I've been doing 720. Big Buck told me that I was doing 720. I wanted to see if it's up to 1080. So let me know in the comments. But I don't think right now is the time where I'm personally buying a lot of companies. Shri, I think we've had some of those buying opportunities. If it for me right now, it's more of like a very dollar cost average time where I go a little bit here and there. It's more of like a ETF approach. It's more of like a max 7 approach. Um, it's up to 720 for you, Chris. Okay, so I have to change that. I maybe didn't update for this one, but I will change it for the next one. Um, John, is it Johnny? I'm sorry. Joni. There we go. Thank you. Maybe this, Joni. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hopefully, Joni. Um, yes. Everyone, remember to hit. And if you're ever in this channel, you know you're gonna get hit with a few things, a few dad jokes, complete mispronunciation of a lot of names, and me sometimes repeating a few words. Do you know anything about BT? Let's think about BT. So I Bit Digital, I know they focus in kind of the crypto market, right? In crypto mining. I actually enjoy and own their spinoff of White Fiber. Um, White Fiber is one that I personally own. Obviously, we see this 10%, it drops. This is kind of like a little bit of a YOLO play for me, though. Obviously, in forms of AI infrastructure, CoreWeave is number two. Nebius is CoreWeave is number one. Nebius is number two. I have a little bit of a bullish spreads on iron, um, and I do have some investment in white fiber. I think it's not much, like 15 k or so on white fiber. So nothing, but to me, it's one of those plays that they actually have a data center. It's a spinoff from Bit Digital. Not is it Bit Digital? Yeah, Bit Digital. They have a few AI infrastructures. One of their partners is actually Cerebras. And Cerebras recently just announced a massive partnership with OpenAI. So small play here, nothing too crazy. Um, AMD is great. Yeah, I think AMD is great. SMCI is from Taiwan. Yes. Will you be live streaming Nvidia earnings next month? Props for pronouncing my name right. Most don't. Either. I feel just because I went to school with someone named Yvette, it's the only reason I have sometimes I'm able to do names okay. Um, Thoughts on Gavin Baker's largest holding position, PSTG? Well, actually, let's jump back into the other one. So I was curious to see what Macom does. Macom Technology is a US-based semiconductor company headquarters in Massachusetts, designing and manufacturing high-performance analog semiconductor products for three primary end markets: industrial and defense, data centers, and telecommunications. So obviously, this is pretty exciting. I know someone asked about Macom, so this is how we got here, right? Someone asked about this one. Overall, just top level, those two markets are pretty exciting right now, especially the defense and especially the data center. The company operates with over 70 years of applications. Again, I feel like I know them mainly for my engineering days in RF, microwave, and photonic technology, serving over 6,000 customers. Oh, wow. That's actually the industrial and defense. Is about 43% of their most recent revenue in composing military radars, electronic warfare, space-related electronics, satellite communications, and multi-market industrial applications. And then data centers, another 30%. So that's actually pretty good, right? They're focusing on 1.6T. Okay, so they focus on the optical transceivers, including transimpedance amplifiers, financial health. I mean, we can look at that, some other stuff. Overall, on the top level, it seems pretty exciting, especially with the $12 billion market cap. For fiscal 2026, management expects expectations for at least mid-teens revenue growth, driven primarily by data center business, followed by industrial, defense, and telecommunication. The company anticipates improved operating leverage through top-line growth combined with expanding gross margins. Specific growth drivers are those photodetector products, pretty much for optical connectivity. All right, so this was an interesting one, right? We learned a little bit. Obviously, we can't do the complete deep dive, but we learned a little bit there. Yeah, so it's interesting. All right, now let's go PSTG. I don't follow that one too much. Pure Storage, right? Does it go with the name? Is it really focusing on the storage business? The most advanced data storage platform to store, manage, and protect the world's data at any scale. I'm gonna guess this one's ripping like no tomorrow. 5 years. Market cap of 24. I mean, obviously, with this AI market on a top level overview, data storage is crucial. Now, I wonder who their competitors are. But let me actually put this one on the list. Taking out the marker, we're going to look at PSTG as well. I feel like some other, I don't know if chip investors, if them, Nick and his wife look at that one. I think they've talked about it in the past. Let's see what other questions we have here. Hey, what's happening with Microsoft recently? Are investors that scared of the AI spending? I don't think that's what's happening with Microsoft. I think Microsoft was one of I think it got ahead of itself in valuations compared to some of the other Mac 7s. If we let's look at forward PE ratio here. And again, if you want great charts, oh my God, and I'm not even promoting my own thing right now. Hold on, give me a quick thing. Let me do my overlay. If you guys want great community for AI, make sure to check out whatthechipHappened.com. But let's look here at Microsoft. Oops, companies here. Microsoft. Let's look at Amazon. Let's look at Alphabet, Meta Platforms, Apple, Nvidia, and let's look at forward PE ratio. I know there's other metrics. I personally enjoy forward PE ratio. I think Microsoft is the most expensive out of them all. All right, we don't need to go that far in time. I just care about right now. Microsoft is not being viewed. Come on. So Microsoft is blue and it's about 27. Actually, wow, huh? So Microsoft there was a moment a few months ago where Microsoft was the most expensive, and it's this one right here. And again, I'm sorry for 720p. I think tomorrow I will be doing 1080p. I don't know. Now Microsoft is actually looking pretty. It's forward PE ratio of 27 doesn't seem that bad anymore. That was one of my biggest fears. So I guess maybe the market is scared a little bit of Microsoft's investment, but I think Microsoft is doing well. Azure is doing well. They're doing pretty well with expanding into other AI companies. I mean, they have Anthropic. They have Anthropic is running on their solutions. We have obviously OpenAI. They're also working on their own models. They're expanding their data center capacity fast as well. So Microsoft now thanks for bringing it up. I didn't know its valuation had dropped that much. Wow. This is actually pretty good. Thank you for that, Benjamin. Um, Yo, there'll be a serious question. Do you think Couch will ever see his money from PayPal? Eventually, I think. I mean, there's I don't follow that market too much, so um I hope he does. How much return do you have on Nvidia in total? Like percentage return? 10 bagger for sure. Um Even more than that. It's I would have to. It all depends, right? Because it depends on like my initial return, my initial buys, but then my overall dollar cost average. Um, it's probably one of my favorites to look at in forms. That and AMD, those two have really changed my overall life in forms of investments. So Vinden here. Charles, okay, so Charles, all from Taiwan. Okay, so I guess Taiwanese CEOs are not a guaranteed success because SMCI has not been doing the best right now. What's good, Jose? What's going on, Blake? Blake Fisher. I'm actually getting hungry now. I don't know why. Maybe Fisher reminded me of fish. Jose, what are your thoughts on SOX ETFs? XML? Again, my apologies. What are your thoughts on? I'm not a huge fan of exposure ETFs, especially during choppy times. But overall, if you are brave, if you're expecting exposure ETFs are only good for trading. Exposure ETFs are only good when you have continuous days of strong returns. If you have a choppy type week or something, as exposure ETFs might actually give you even worse returns than the regular ETF. So they're more daily traded, in my opinion, or weekly traded. I think it's more of a trading vehicle than an investment vehicle. Wait, sorry. No, am I thinking of the wrong one? Yes, I was actually thinking of a wrong one. So this is not a exposure ETF. This is just a regular ETF. SOXX, I like it. Any form of semiconductor ETF, I personally like. SMH, SOX. I was thinking of an exposure of a completely one, so forget that. But if we look at SOXX, let's look at the exposure really quickly. Open image. 7% Micron, 7% Nvidia, 7% AMD, 6.4% Applied, 6% Broadcom. If I didn't want to invest individually in semiconductor companies, I think SOXX is a great approach. So, which one was I thinking about? Is it OXX? Is this it? Okay, that's the one I was thinking about. SOXL. So my apologies on getting that one wrong. What else do we have here? We're trying to answer all the questions. I think one of these days I'm going to have a timer. Jose, I like your thoughts on big players exploring alternative memory options. Can you play that thought out a bit of who could invest in hopes of Nvidia? That's the question, right? So I talked about it, how I don't know. That's where I'm focusing my time on research right now. I'm trying to understand the memory market a lot more. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be more in I think there's two ways to memory becoming cheaper. The first way is added competition, right? That's the first way. So if you have more competition, you're going to be doing some form of pricing war. The second way you increase memory is to, and the reason that works is because it increases the overall supply. But that's not the only ever reason. That's not the only way you can increase supply. The other way to increase supply is by improving the manufacturing. Um, uh, by increasing the yields. And how do you increase the yields? By improving the equipment, by advancements in things like metrology. So I think the equipment players improving things like advanced packaging, the yields of advanced packaging. Um, so I think for now, the best way is going to be improvements of yields, and improvements of yields um, leads to better metrology and type of inspection and advanced packaging equipment. So that's where I'm looking at right now. Um, so I think it's an indirect way of kind of shifting into this alternate memory market. I hope that makes sense, man. It made sense in my head, but it might not make sense when I was speaking it. Uh, these does 89. Yeah, I think we were talking about white fiber there. Yeah. So Joe, what's going on, Joe? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Um, piece of dad would own white fiber. Hey, I'm a dad. I own it. So all the alpha you need. What three stocks would be a buy here, Jason? I think it all depends on every investor is different. Are you extreme growth with high risk? Are you just a Max 7? Are you just an ETF player? Are you a AI doubter? Are you a AI bullish? If I'm AI bullish, AMD, Nvidia, and CoreWeave, those are my three. Are three for long term. Back sevens, I'm looking at Nvidia, Amazon, and Meta, maybe even Microsoft now that we see the overall valuation. So um, it all depends on valuation, on everything, on what you want to see. Um, what's going on, Max? Somehow Google is slightly dipping. I'm actually surprised, right? I would have expected TSMC's earnings to be extremely bullish for Google and the other players. The other players are actually up. We see Meta up 1%. We see Microsoft up 0.2%. We see Amazon up 1%. Google's down 1.1%. Interesting. I know this one has kind of pulled up a lot ahead of the others a little bit. But I think TSMC's earnings is extremely bullish for the cloud space, which is bullish for those Max 7. Sorry, off topic, but could impact every business if true. Did you see TP solid state battery update? No, I don't follow the solid state battery too much, so I don't know what the update is. Harish, I'm pretty sure I butchered that name. But yeah, solid state battery would be interesting. I mean, obviously, we'll have to probably something to add onto my research. Meta slowly going onto the buying side. That would be awesome. I'm personally liking Meta right now. TSM Tara, I agree. TSM is just ripping it. Let's see where we're at right now. Up 6.8%. I'm curious. Did we hit 100 yet? No. I want to hit 100 on this one again. This is exciting. I'm pretty excited. CoreWeave, I gotten a lot of hate for this one. But I'm extremely excited for this. Let's see what other questions we have. Serious question. Do you, we already talked about one. PayPal remains a strong company. Sentiment is garbage. No, I don't. Yeah, I think, and there's, you can say that with a lot of companies, right? There's a lot of companies that the company is strong, but the sentiment is not there. And it's crazy that that's what we have to deal sometimes with the overall market. You have to have both a good company and be patient enough to either wait out for the sentiment to come in or be able to time it exactly when the sentiment changes. SMU for ETF for ASML exposure. I'm not that familiar, Tara, of SMU. Let's see if we can find it here. Is this it? SMU? Nope, that's definitely not it because this company operates as a food retailer in Chile and Peru. Uh, Chile and Peru, and the company offers fresh items such as fruits, vegetables, white, red meat, and dairy products. As well, we just found the next multi-bagger. Imagine if we accidentally just clicked on the stock and it ends up being a massive winner. What's the market cap of this baby? All right, but SMU, off track, off track. Let's go back to questions. Um, what other questions? Ben, Pure Storage sells all flash data storage solutions to reduce GPU idle time. So more GPU uptime, more GPU AI servers means more demand for PSTG. If that alone could be a bullish thesis right there. I don't follow it. Maybe I should do a little bit more research on it. How much do you think AMD will go up this year, percentage wise? That's my jam. That's my jam. I wish I knew. I'm not good at price targets. I do believe AMD in the 5 years is a $1 trillion company if they execute, if they execute correctly with the Helios rack. Let me just see quick on time because I do have a meeting at 12. So if anybody can help me out once it gets to 11:50, 11:55, just give me a quick reminder that, Jose, you need to go to your meeting. Why is CoreWeave pumping today? I don't know. I mean, CoreWeave's just been having a heck of a week. 5 days, 26%. Happy dance, happy dance, happy dance. At first, we saw reports. Yesterday I talked about it. I don't know if I talked about it here or in my videos, but CoreWeave's delayed data center seems to be progressing better now. They had about 16,000 GPUs on December on the delayed data center. So maybe no longer any more delays there, which is good. I also thought that TSMC in general would boost up the overall AI infrastructure market because if TSMC is seeing huge demand for AI chips, then that means that there's massive demand for AI compute, which means that there's going to be massive demand for AI infrastructure. Maybe that's too many steps going down to over indirect thinking, but that was my thought process on TSM. Did you watch the recent CoreWeave CEO interview? Pretty good. Mentioned they're like leading liquid cool management. I have not, Ethan. Ethan investing. That name, I'm not going to say. Ethan's actually, no. All right. Awesome. I haven't watched it just yet. But yeah, I signed up for a CoreWeave seminar they're having later this month, kind of talking about AI infrastructure scale out. Hopefully I can learn a lot there. But maybe I have to watch Ethan their overall interview here with the CEO. I wonder if that's the one that they keep talking about where CoreWeave CEO calls NVIDIA circular financing claims ridiculous. So it does seem like he might have just recently been, let's see, videos. CoreWeave CEO. No. That's pretty insane. Cost basis on NVIDIA's 93. I just kept buying, so mine is definitely not that low. My initial buy point is in the single digits, though. My initial for AMD, AMD was one of my first stocks that I bought in 2016. So for AMD, my initial one is like $5 as well. Initial buys. So pretty amazing. I mean, these just drive like crazy. I was going to say, I'm invested heavily in SOXQ. Which one is SOXQ? That's the other one, right? No, that's also another just regular ETF. Yeah, that's just a regular ETF. Okay, yeah. How many years do you hold you think is best for those ETF? So SOXL, the leverage ETFs, I don't think you hold them in years. You hold them in cycles. You hold them in weeks. You hold them in days. Smith Patel. The other ETFs, like the actual semiconductors, non-leverage, like SMH, like SOXX, like SOXQ that we're seeing right now. These are ones I personally plan to hold for multiple years, decades for that, right? I think the semiconductor industry will continue to outperform the overall market. There's no reason not to think that, in my opinion. I mean, you have robotics, you have AR, VR, you have autonomous, you have AI solutions. This semiconductors are the brain to all that. Um, I don't know. I mean, short term, I think there's still, at least right now, for the next year or so, plenty of energy. I mean, we already have all these companies already building AI infrastructure for right now. Um, in the long term, I don't know. I want to talk to. I need to get more into the energy market. Adis, I'm pretty sure every time I say your name differently. Adis, I'm gonna just go with 89. I'm not too familiar with the energy market, and I do think it's going to be electricity. I think it's just your typical power right now. I think there's just going to be improvements. I mean, we see Nvidia and all these AI infrastructure players are finding a new way to maybe reduce some of the inefficiencies happening in the transfer of power. The other thing is just improvements in the chips themselves as well. Just efficiency improvements in a lot of those inefficiencies can help a little bit with the power demand in the short term. You can also show more on screen instead of talking more at times. You can also show more on screen instead of talking more at times. More on screen. I thought I was showing on screen. Thank you for appreciation. XOXQ has the lowest. That's the good thing, right? I think that's crucial to look at. Expense ratios for the semiconductor ETFs, the lower the better, especially if most of them are just following a form of index. There are some that are actively trading a little bit more. But yeah, thanks for looking at Microsoft. I invested heavily. Yeah, thanks for bringing it up, Benjamin. I guess I saw that it was pretty expensive before, so I stopped. I started ignoring Microsoft, but it's changing. It's crazy how the valuation has changed a little bit in just the past few months. Try to balance the overall value in relations to what you're currently looking at. Try to balance the overall value in relations to what you're looking at. I don't know if I missed something. That would give us all better insight. That's cool. He's looking into that area. Pretty cool. Good time to buy Microsoft. I think we talked a little bit about Microsoft ahead. I mean, it's not as expensive as it was. I still am a little bit more favorable of some of the other Max 7s right now, but Microsoft, with the recent pull-ups, I pull downs that I didn't know it happened. Past 6 months is down about 10%. Forward PE ratio at 27. It is starting to look a little attractive right now compared to where it was a few months ago. Do you invest in energy plays that bottlenecks of AI? Thoughts on Jason? The only energy play that I have is this one, Solaris Energy Infrastructure. Nope, that's not it. It's just SEI. Doing amazing today. I don't even want to open up I want to open it up now. I want to see my portfolio today. Sorry, I'm just making sure babysitter didn't message anything. Solaris is the only play that I have right now in the energy space. I don't have anything else. They are builder of turbines. For these power plants. They have a massive contract with XAI, and market cap of 3.8 billion. This is one that I think my buy is around $30. But that's the only energy play that I have. Intel, buy or sell. If I might be honest, it's I wouldn't sell it right now. I don't know if I would buy it. I would put a hold. I know, Leapy, you didn't give me that option. But Intel, I mean, you're coming in a time where 18A is actually doing pretty well, right? If their Panther Lake just got announced, Intel, let's look at Intel's CES. They announced Panther Lake, which is based on their 18A architecture. They expect to, so that's going well. In theory, that should help improve margins as they start to bring more chip development back in-house, opposed to sending it to TSMC. You're also seeing the investments from the United States. You're also seeing the push of U.S. first, U.S. built stuff. And more importantly, with 18X success, we're actually seeing some excitement for 14A. And I think the CEO, if we go to Intel's CEO 14A, he actually mentioned that they were going big time into 14A. So there's a lot of great opportunities for Intel. Now, if they fail in 14A, if there are some issues with Panther Lake, obviously stock prices could go down. But a lot of the risk has been eliminated and there's still opportunity for growth. So it's all if you believe the Intel story. What's your view, Nick Paladino? I want to go play WoW, so I think I just saw Paladin. But what's your view on Bloom Energy? AI infrastructure. Again, I don't follow the energy space too much, so my apologies there. Beanstalk, you, LOL, sweet, thumbs up for you. Any thoughts on Photonics semiconductor stocks? Are we talking about companies like Light and Coherent? I mean, with the optics market is definitely getting excitement. I mean, Light is past year, I'm pretty sure it killed it 300%. I think Coherent is also killing it right now. 11% today on the day. Wow. Past year up 112%. I mean, optics is definitely changing the semiconductor market, especially with communication. So there's excitement there. I don't follow this industry too much. I know recently though, Marvell bought a company, Celestial, which also deals with optics and scale up approach. Yeah, so they just, sorry, I hear my little one screaming. So I know Marvell is, with the networking solution, also focusing a lot in the optics space, and they already do, right? They have plenty of DSPs and stuff like that as well. So I think my closest approach to the optics market right now is Marvell. But I know there's a little bit other plays out there. Just curious, are we not going to hit 100? I guess not. Yeah, I see, Dennis, I'm curious what's happening, right? Why just a huge excitement for AI means huge excitement for the optics space, or if there was something else. Was there an event? Let's take a closer look at quarter. I wonder if there was actually any major, if these companies were at a conference recently. So today's Thursday. No. Yesterday. No, either. They weren't there either. I don't know why I'm not following. So let's follow Coherent. Create on, let's put it on chips. And let's look at Light too. That one's not there either. Let's just put it on follow companies. And let's go back here. I wasn't following them. So let's see if now anything got updated. No. So they weren't in any conference. So I wonder what's creating the sentiment for a lot of those optics names at the moment. Yes, we almost found the next mullet doing it. It's a multi-bagger power. All right. So I know a lot of people talk about Vistra and Constellation Energy are kind of like the main players in energy. I don't know. It just doesn't excite me enough to do too much research just yet. I do think there's probably a little bit more excitement in that transformation to like 800 volt DC in some of these data center needs. And there's a lot of small players that can benefit from that. Credo is definitely next position I want to start. Ethan investing. Definitely think you like it too. Looking for a bit lower though. Yeah. So Credo, I think I've looked at them very quickly. Credo and Astera Labs, because they're both focusing a little bit right in the scale up and scale out approach of networking. I don't know if they're doing both or either. Again, I don't follow them too much, but I know they're focusing on the scale of something, either scale up or scale out approach for AI chips. And if I remember correctly, I think I like Credo a little bit better than Astera Labs. But yeah, Credo year to date. Yeah. Ethan, have you looked at either both? What was are you in Astera Labs? Am I true to say that they're competitors at least right now? Thoughts on Symbotic? What's going on, Jack? Jack, so Symbotic, right? I mean, huge into the robotic space. Symbotic stock of about 2%. I mean, the industrial, and if we let's go to quarter really quick. I think we'll get some cool images there um, for Symbotic. I know they have a massive contract with Walmart, right? They are in the robotics business, but not your humanoid robotics. They're kind of your robotic arms. And now with AI, that's obviously something that can accelerate. Uh, And they do a little bit, right? They have the in-house. They also do the green box where they outsource. I've actually I done a little bit of a remembrance of this one, uh, but they've automated the distribution center, full autonomous bots, AI powered software. I think AI is obviously going to be a major role here, and anybody who already has kind of like a nice customer base can benefit dramatically from this like this. And if you can build kind of like the whole architecture, not just the robots, but kind of design the whole structure, just how we see NVIDIA kind of not just build the chip, they design kind of like the whole AI data center pretty much nowadays. If you're following that same type of business load, I think you have something ahead of yourself. And it seems like that's what Symbiotic is trying to do, right? Not only do they focus on the robotics, they also focus on building up the supply chain infrastructure, the software behind it. Um, so want to add on the list in the robotics aspect, but not one I owned at the moment. So Symbotic stock doing pretty good in the past year, 160%. So congratulations if you do own it. Um, what's going on? Let's see what else do we have here. So these are ones I don't follow. So the eVTOL, Joby Archer, been buying Joby, thinking they will complete FFA and begin flip mites. Not an industry I follow too much, right? So Joe, I can't share much thoughts there. Um, but obviously, any form of things like this can drive some form of. For me, I think about it more of the chip and AI space. How are they implementing stuff like that? If they don't. Did you call me in the streets? I didn't. I don't think I did. I don't even know who in the streets. I don't think I have your number. Um, did you see AMD getting? Do you see AMD getting to 400 this year? The only way AMD can hit 400 this year is if the Helios rack and 400. What would that be a market cap? So about $150 from here. Um, there's about a 70% growth. 70% growth on market cap. What's that like 600, $700 billion in $600 billion in market cap. The only way it's not impossible. I'm going to say it's not impossible. If Helios does amazing, if they see some crazy numbers in the Helios rack, that's a possibility. But you have to showcase crazy numbers on Helios or at least Sue has to finally give us some crazy guidance that she is hesitant to give us. She gives us total addressable market. She gives us compounded annual growth rate, but she's hesitant on giving us guidance. If she gives us some crazy guidance, I don't think it's impossible to see a $600 billion market cap for AMD. Let's see what else do we have here. How many am I missing questions? Boom, 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 boom. What's going on from a Mitch chat? What's going on, Steven? Jose, any thoughts on Sky Tower? I bought it because it was mentioned in a YouTube video, but don't know much about the company. That's Nick. You shouldn't do that. First, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't just buy it because it was mentioned in a YouTube video, and you don't know it. I don't know much about Sky Tower, so can't tell you. I'm gonna try to take as many questions real quick as I only got like 5 more minutes. No, I got 10 minutes. Hello from a midstream. What's going on? What's going on? Thank you, thank you. Um, what's your take on Tesla? N- N- Natalie A or Natalie? Um, I like the company, right? They have the opportunity with robotics. FSD is amazing. I use FSD on every time I'm in a car, I'm using FSD. Every time I'm in a Tesla, I use FSD. They have the opportunity with all that data to do really good in the robotics. Valuation seems crazy though, right? That's the only thing. It's like for Tesla, if you're buying now, you're hoping on that overall evolution in the market. I think personally, there's a lot more place that I would rather put my money in right now. And Tesla's not the one right now. Nick says some of them can be very convincing in forms of videos. I mean, they can, but you still got to learn a little bit. Come on. Do you believe CleanSpark will get AITC contracts soon? I mean, with the I don't follow this one. I think I talked about it. Thematic is we still need a lot of AI compute. And if you have some form of PowerShell or AI infrastructure, or just utility infrastructure, you're likely to get some form of contract. So it is possible. Um, um, Sorry, I don't know if you guys hear the little one. He is crying. I'm probably gonna leave a little bit early just to check on him before my next meeting. Um, Yes, with Microsoft. And I also invest in Meta, as have many other people. Yeah, I think both of them. Do you think AMD will beat during earnings call? Yes, I think AMD will beat. Will the Vera Rubin intro set the photonics sector upwards? Yes, yes. I mean, Jensen has been talking about it. They have a lot of kind of uh, photonic solutions. I like EOSE. I heard a lot of people talk about this, not one that I follow. Brick Gang here. Okay. Brick Gang, what's going on from Amit's channel? Thank you for the support here. Hey, Jose, what's going on, June and everybody? Simply put, the advanced chips like the Rubins overwhelm copper, so photonics is taking over. Yes, and copper is pretty expensive, right? It gets pretty expensive as well, and if you're able to find improvements elsewhere, uh, that's definitely a market. Oh, they're not competitors. Oh, I'm pretty sure M&A here is talking about Credo and Astera Labs. I thought they were both working on some form of networking solutions for chip connectivity, but I guess they're not. So I got to do my research on that one a little bit more. Let's see. 45 minutes already. All right, thank you. We still got time. Hold on. Oh my God, I'm missing some questions. Stop posting, people. I want to get all these questions. So they're not competitors. Plus, photonics are cooler than coppers. Very true. Symbiotic, Chris, is your third position. Very nice. Curious to see what's number 1 and 2. They recently signed with Medline. Are we talking about Symbiotics here? I'm guessing because it was around the same time frame. I saw they were signing a nice amount of contracts. I think SoftBank is an investor there. Thanks, Jose. Love your videos, dude, and thanks for all you do. Jack, appreciate the support here from this channel. Hi, guys. What's going on? Rahul. Do you see Nvidia at 250 at the end of this year? I think it's possible, right? I mean, they're forward PE ratio is what, 26 for Nvidia. Even if you just see a little bit of a multiple expansion to 30s, you're getting to about closer to 250s. So I think it is possible, especially with the demand we're seeing for AI chips. Let's see what else do we have here. Amit degen here. What's going on to the degens? Credo is mainly scale up. Okay, so that's it. Scale up is mainly scale. Credo. Oh, I actually like scale up more than scale out. Okay, awesome. Appreciate it, Ethan. You broke it down better for me. So Credo's mainly scale up. Astera Labs is mainly scale out. Main products, AEC competes with APH, which is legacy DACs. Yep, AECs are more efficiency, better TCOs. I agree. A lot of acronyms there, but active electric cables, total cost of ownership, Astera Labs. What else do we have there? So talking in code here, it seems. What else do we have? Let me also make sure. I don't know. Give me one quick second. I just got to check a few things really quick. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, I see a super chat. Usually I don't get super chats, so my thingy doesn't go about it. Jose, you know ASC technology? I don't know about it. All I know is they deal a lot with advanced packaging. So that's the only thing. I appreciate for the $2 super chat. I wish I could give you more insight on that one. 1150. I'll stay to 1155. Oh, all right. 1155 is good. I haven't talked about Arista Networks. I mean, obviously the networking market, as we're building these massive infrastructures, Arista Networks is one that can benefit. I know their customer concentration has been kind of a little bit of a scary thing for them. Um, and with kind of Nvidia kind of entering a little bit in the networking space, or a lot of it, you're seeing out of a lot of negative sentiments here. I think top level though, you have there's definitely opportunity for Arista. I don't own it. Have you ever considered, Nick, what's going on? Someone actually mentioned this, kind of getting exposure into an ETF for the Korean market to get Samsung and SK Hynix. I personally don't. I don't really want that exposure that much. Um, what's going on, Silva? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody watching. SMH, what do you think of its composition and performance? Does it look like the one worth piling up for the whole? I like SMH the most, only because I'm a huge Nvidia fan, right? I'm a huge Nvidia fan, and Nvidia is the biggest position, 15%. Then you have TSM at 10%, right? So just because Nvidia is that big, I like SMH the most. It's a way for me to continue to put into Nvidia the most, but still the overall ecosystem. Um, CoreWeave number 4, nice. CoreWeave is number 2 right now for me. Nvidia number 1, CoreWeave number 2, AMD number 3. Those are my 3 biggest positions in size. What's CoreWeave? Did we hit 100? No. No, we did it. Thoughts on the air test system? All right, guys. Actually, it is time. And I'm gonna actually go see the little one. He is crying, so apologies for ending about 5 minutes early. We're gonna be back on tomorrow, at the same time, 11 to 12. So unfortunately, I couldn't get all the questions, but we did get a lot of questions here. Appreciate all the support, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Now, time for my awkward leave. End session for all. Here we go.